Jordan, heck of a game for the neutral. Good point or 2 dropped in the end?
We're both fighting, you know, we're both down there. There's probably a bit of anxiety out on the pitch, you know, a bit of pressure from both teams. We get the first goal, which was nice. I thought we played brilliant first 20 minutes. We did exactly what the gaffer wanted from us, and we dropped off the boil. They came into that game a bit, but then, you know, we reset again, and I think as a fan's perspective, I think it was a good game to watch. But I think we created a lot of chances tonight. Their keeper, Iverson, made some very good saves. So credit to him. You know, when he's called upon, he makes them saves. I think we created a lot of chances. I think most chances I've probably created since the new managers come in, if not the whole season. But so it's a plus, but also a negative as well.
Particularly after Thursday night, there's a lot of encouragement, isn't there, in a much improved performance like that? Yeah,
of course. I thought we were brilliant. You know, just them fine little details at the end. You know, maybe lands the delivery. You know, Tarks and Kane getting on the end of it, but maybe that split second earlier. You know, small details win games. We didn't lose. We didn't get beat. So we've got momentum now. We've got Brighton away next Monday now. So it'll be rest, recover, and get ready for the next game.
One not so small detail: a penalty save just before half time. Crucial, as it turned out. Talk us through it.
Yeah, matters. He needs to learn his lesson.
And what is that?
Don't play poker by the sounds of it. No, to be fair, do my homework.
We saw.
I called it this morning where I was going to go. But no, he's a good player, and I think he'll expect me to make movement. You know, he's got a great delivery. You know, if he whips it or opens up, I think he expects me to dive. So I think I've double bluffed him and got one up on him. But yeah, it was a big moment in the game, and I'm quite happy I saved it. You know, because that's what I'm there to do. You know, try and help my teammates out if they make mistakes. You know, sometimes it's harsh, the penalty, but I'll try my best to get them out of the trouble.
Well, you certainly did your homework, because according to your water bottle, he puts 50% of his penalties down the middle.
Yeah, he does, yeah. The cameraman was good there.
How do you see this result in terms of what you're trying to achieve in the cold light of day?
Yeah, I think it's a point. It's not. We're not coming away from Leicester with 0 points. You know, we know we're still in the bottom 3, and we know we've got a point. But you know, it's very tight down there. It's about momentum and just rolling our sleeves up. I said it in an interview last week at Palace. Roll our sleeves up and just keep working hard, you know, fighting spirit together. I think we showed it out there tonight, you know. Seamus comes off with an injury. We all regathered and got together and, you know, come out second half fighting, you know. We've fought hard, you know. I think we could have got 3 points, but we never.
Well, we certainly saw the fighting spirit. Perhaps occasionally we saw a few of the nerves as well. Was your heart in your mouth in the second half when you came out to clear from Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, I thought I made the right decision by coming. I had good calmness with it, but then they just jumped on me, and sometimes I should just go out, just try and lever it out of place straight away. But I made the decision, and on my day, yeah. But I think it was the right decision to come, and that's all I care about. Well,
in the end, it was a point, and a very important one, perhaps.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks.
They tend to do maybe something different, and this time he's done well. Before we move on, Seamus Coleman was obviously involved in that goal and had to be stretchered off before half-time with what looked a really nasty injury, Jamie. We don't want to tempt fate without knowing too much about it, but it's a real blow for Everton.
Listen, it's a blow for him. Fingers crossed it's not too serious, but it didn't look great. And it could be a real problem for Everton this season, because I felt until he'd gone off the pitch, I thought he was the best player on the pitch, and the difference he'd made to Everton, not just in lead. People always talk about Seamus Coleman's leadership, but his actual energy up and down that right side, providing an attacking outlet for Everton that hasn't been there in these last few weeks. And you know, considering what he's done for that football club over the sort of 10 or 12 years he's been there, one of the best signings I think probably in Everton's history. 60 grand he cost, and there's no doubt they're going to miss him hugely. We all send him, of course, our best wishes and a speedy recovery. Leicester got themselves back into it relatively quickly in that first half. How did they do that, Jamie? Well, the two centre-backs are involved. I mean, it comes in, Everton don't deal with it. It's a hopeful ball in by Barnes, really. But Faz at the back post and then Soyuncu. I mean, so the two centre-backs are involved, one at the back post, then one at the near post, and then we spoke about that slight deflection off Michael Keane, that just wrong foots. Jordan Pickford, but it come out of nothing, and they're quite fortunate Leicester to get themselves back in the game, because in those early stages, I mean, Everton were really on top, and, you know, to get back, it was one of those where you just get a goal out of nothing, really, and just get yourself back in the game. As I said, Everton were really on top.
Played 2-1 in for us as well, Jamie, and this is the combination we talked about before the game, which you were hoping was going to pay dividend for Leicester City, Maddison and Vardy.
Yeah, like I said before, most of the positive stuff that happens with Leicester comes through Maddison, and the weight of pass, perfect. Vardy's run, and the composure is it's typical Jamie Vardy.
You've been there as a goalkeeper many times in training. What do you do when Vardy is bearing down at you like this?
Foul him or something. No, it's one of them where obviously you have to try and preempt what he's going to do, because the good strikers mix it up. You know, they'll finish it and they'll take it round the keeper. So the keeper's always having to guess. And it's impossible to read, so, it's just, top-class striker play, I think.
Leicester won themselves a penalty as well before half-time. I'm not sure you'd want Michael Keane as your defence barrister. Looking at this.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's a penalty. There's no doubt about that. Every defender complains and moans about the decision that goes against, but as we know, as soon as that arm comes outside that silhouette, which it is, and then, obviously, Michael Keane then points at the referee where it hit him to prove his guilt. But
and so this Casper as well, is every goalkeeper doing this right now? So this is Jordan Pickford's water bottle, as we saw in his interview there. We'll see a close-up. Here we go. So these are people that they thought might be taking penalties. Tielemans, Vardy and Maddison. The instruction there is 60% he takes through the middle. Stay centre for Maddison is the instruction there. And you have to say, with a little bit of movement, did his job.
Certainly did.
Is that more and more common now? Does every goalkeeper have that?
It seems to be. Personally, it's not something I've ever done, but it seems to be the trend at the moment, and clearly working. So maybe I should start doing that.
Why have you not?
I have a different process.
What's your process?
When I retire one day, I'll tell you.
Come on.
But how brave is it of a goalkeeper to stand in the middle? Because I think it looks awful if you don't even dive. And
that's the thing. It looks strange, exactly, but it's incredibly brave. Particularly in this situation where everything's on the line, they go 3-1 up. That's probably the game over. So to be brave enough to do it, that takes some doing.
It is an absolutely vital moment in the contest, isn't it? And then gives Everton that platform to get back right in the game through Iwobi.
Well, Iwobi made the mistake, didn't he, to let Leicester go in at 2.5 times. So he's redeemed himself here, really. But I thought the delivery initially was good from sort of Dwight McNeil. He just drops off Castagna. It's a good ball. It's not easy for the defender, and that's a really good finish. It really is.
But again, is it Calvert-Lewin that's causing problems?
Yeah, I mean, he occupies two central defenders, drags the full-back slightly inside, Luke Thomas on that far side. He turns his back slightly, but listen, I think you've got to look at the quality of the finish. As I said, on the half volley, to keep it down and to beat a goalkeeper who was in that form tonight, I think it was a real quality finish. And listen, Everton deserved to get at least a point.
Yes, at least a point, and that's how it turned out. 2-2. Let's hear from the Leicester boss, Dean Smith, with Greg.
Dean, you felt that the point against Leeds was something of a missed opportunity. How do you reflect on this point tonight?
A little bit of both again, a little bit of a missed opportunity because at 2-1 we missed a penalty, but also first half we were second best for long periods and didn't win enough second balls. The game became a bit of a basketball game, and it played into their hands rather than ours, and too many unforced errors. I wanted a game where we could have control, and we didn't get that until we had a 25-minute spell in the second half.
How pleased were you with the response to going behind early on?
Yeah, really pleased. I mean, I've just seen it back. It looked a soft penalty. There were plenty that weren't given like that over the weekend, but I can understand why it was given. But we got back into the game. I thought, Vars looked like his old self, looked a threat in behind, and, won his goal. And really well, so really pleased for him that he's back scoring goals, which he does best. But we had to find a way into the game for Madders, and it wasn't until we moved him inside the pitch that he started dictating play a little bit more.
You had an opportunity, didn't you, just before half-time to go 3-1 ahead. Maddison taking and missing the penalty. Why, fill us in on why he was taking the penalty when you have the likes of Tielemans and Vardy on the pitch as well?
Simply because he's on penalties. You know, Cal was on penalties at Man City, I think, and took one against Wolves, and Madders was on it, saw him practicing, and, you know, the goalkeeper's been brave to stand up, to be fair, in the middle of the goal. So, yeah, unfortunate, you know, but I think it was a fair result, you know, given the chances that we gave away today.
Is Maddison still on penalties going forward?
We'll see. We'll have a look at it in training during the week.
Did you feel in the end, I mean, it was a pulsating game, end-to-end, basketball as you called it. Did you do enough to win it, do you feel?
Probably not, is the correct answer, I think. You know, we've had the big chance from the penalty spot, which we should take. We didn't, but I just felt, you know, certainly in the first half, we allowed it to become more of a second ball game, which is what they wanted, and they showed quality in the final third that we probably didn't. 4 fixtures remaining, here and now. How do you see the challenge? No, the challenge is what we thought it would be. We knew the result today wouldn't define what happens, you know, whether we'd won or whether we'd lost. You know, there's a share of the spoils, I think. We come out at the bottom 3, I think, you know, but with 4 games to go and 12 points to play for.
Dean, appreciate your time.
Cheers, thank you.
And in that context, it was a really important point because it does move them clear. They have a superior goal difference as well, but they need a few more points, Casper. Where do you see them coming?
They're all massive now. I mean, obviously Fulham are on a really good run. They've had a good season, but that's got to, you've got to be picking up points there. And then, yeah, you're looking. You've got to get something out of Liverpool and Newcastle, and then West Ham at home in the last game as the
Might it
cup
go?
final.
Might it go that way?
I hope not. I really, really hope not. If anyone's got it in them, Leicester have. You know, to pick out a result. You know, we've had great nights at the King Power against Liverpool sometimes where we've dug out some results. So we're going to have to hope for the same.
Let's get the Everton perspective now. Sean Dyche again with Greg.
Sean, a point, but a much improved performance.
Big improvement. I think there's more consistency to the performance. Obviously, a couple of mistakes, but we've got to eradicate that. We know, but 23 efforts away from home, and I think we had nearly 50 entries into their box. I mean, it shows the way the team are trying to progress, and a much better general performance throughout, a consistent performance, which I asked for. Because against Newcastle, we were at least decent until 70 minutes. Went under too quickly. Tonight we didn't. We held our nerve, kept trying to create things, kept trying to create chances, and overall it's a good performance, although we don't take the 3 points that we came here for.
The lead, just reward for a really positive start to this game.
Yeah, I thought we were excellent. Most of the first half, as I said, apart from mistakes, most of the first half we were excellent. Carried on to the second half. They got a little bit of play and a little bit more of a foothold, but not really enough to worry us too much in too many occasions.
A key part of this game for me was the way you started both halves. How did you see a way back at half-time from the position you were in?
Well, because I thought it was a head-scratcher. They were in front. So sometimes you've got to be honest with the players and say, look, it's one of them things. So we're right in it, the way we were playing. Got to keep playing on the front foot, keep mixing our play, and keep being effective. And I thought we were. I mean, the keepers made a couple of brilliant saves. Dom's missed one, unfortunately, but he looks sharper, he looks fitter and stronger again. So he'll be a weapon for us over the next 4 games, as we want the whole team to be. And some really good individual performances tonight.
Him being on the score sheet tonight could be a real positive for you, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives him another. I thought he looked a threat, and like I said, his true fitness, which I spoke about when I got here, is coming back. You know, he looks a lot stronger, looks a lot more alert. But we want more from all of them. But can't ask too much more than tonight, apart from getting all 3 points, because that's a really good performance.
You lost Seamus Coleman, of course, just before half-time. How is he, and how much of a concern is the injury?
Yeah, really unfortunate. We're waiting on news. It looks like a knee injury. It could be serious. We don't know yet. I thought he was terrific, so it was a real loss to us. But I thought Pato did really well when he came on. It's not easy coming on in games like that, and I thought Pato was excellent. The key tonight feels that how different a 90 minutes it was from the other night in many respects. What do you feel was the key in the end? Well, I spoke to the players before. You've got to find, there has to be a framework for you to play, and there has to be freedom. And I thought a few of our players, they had that freedom. You know, they took the game on and they were more willing to put themselves at risk and put the ball at risk in good areas of the pitch, in the front third of the pitch, and ask more questions of the opposition, getting into better areas to score goals. And I think You know, that's what you want. Every manager, you've got to have a framework. You've got to understand the tactical framework, but you've got to have the freedom to go and play from it. And I thought there was really good signs of that.
It was just a point in some respects in the end. But how do you regard the challenge that remains in the light of that?
It remains just the same. You know, I didn't come here for a walk in the park, trust me. You know, I knew it was going to be a challenge. We're a point per game at the moment. It doesn't seem like a massive shift, but I think they had 5 points in the previous 12 games. So, you know, there has been a shift. The players are putting in a shift, but it's also the quality. We've got to, you know, the only gripe tonight, two real soft goals from our point of view for different reasons. But the mentality, the physicality and some of the play, that's what we want from the team. We want them to stay on the front foot and take every game on.
Sean, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The question is, with only 4 games left, is a point per game going to be enough from here on in? Brighton away, Manchester City at home, then those last 2, Wolves away and Bournemouth at home. Let's have a look at where this is leading us. What do you think, Jamie? Would you be more encouraged from an Everton perspective?
Yes, just for the actual performance more than anything. And I said if you were watching that as a Nottingham Forest sort of supporter, staff member, player and Leeds, I think you'd be worried. Obviously, Leicester come up against Everton there. I mean, the big problem for Everton is still that they've got 2 more away games out the next 3, and they've won 1 away game all season. That is a huge problem. And the 1 home game then is against Manchester City before you get to the last game of the season. And you've just got to hope from Everton's point of view, or certainly they'll hope that they're still in there with a shout. But I've never felt Everton would go down at any stage, really. I think if they'd have lost tonight, I think most people would have been really fearful for them. But I just look at the form Leeds are in.
Well, it could be another twist there tonight, Jamie. It's being reported that Javi Gracia's job is under consideration, having only been there for a matter of weeks.
It sounds crazy, and we never used to think this could happen in our league, but the stakes are so high, I think I could probably understand it, because there's such an ill feeling at the club right now in terms of the connection between him and the supporters. They're not happy. I think they showed that frustration to him behind the bench, I think, at Bournemouth. And they've got to try and create some sort of feel-good factor in the home games that they've got, which are really tough, to bring some sort of energy, really, and performance to try and get themselves over the line. So I would not be surprised at all if they made that change.
What do you think players need at this stage, Casper? If there was to be a new voice coming into the dressing room, is it someone with fight? Is it someone with experience? Is it someone who's going to motivate and inspire people? What does that dressing room need?
Well, I think the best thing that they can have is someone who comes in with a clear style, a clear identity of what he wants to do and how he wants them to play. Because,
is there time with 4 games left?
No, there's not time. But if they're considering it, I think nothing else is really going to work. They've tried many different things now, but defensively they're leaking goals everywhere. They aren't scoring goals either. So obviously tactically it's not working either. So they need to figure something out very, very fast in terms of how they're going to play, how they're going to stop all the goals they're conceding and how they're going to score. And you can have people shouting and screaming in the dressing room and all you want, but if players need to be instructed on where they need to be these days. You know, you've